Hi, I'm Caden here with my brother,
Cal,
and you're watching Eating W's.
eat the W.
That's a W. Let's eat one. Let's eat one. That's a W.
Welcome back to Eating W's. After a long hiatus, we have finally returned, and oh man, what a time to return, because we are officially entering the 2025-2026 playoff circuit. And of course, we love to do it. It's what we're jumping right back into. Right here in today's episode, we have the 2025 Wildcard Weekend playoff predictions. So just to kind of give a quick heads up, we're going to do this just like we did all through last regular season and playoffs. Keep a same kind of point tally and go our head-to-head prediction style, just without the points of the regular season, of course. I think this is how we did it last year, but whether it actually is or not, that's how we're going to do it this year. We're going to do a 2, 4, 8, 10 bracket, or style of points, where of course your wild card weekend, this episode, each correct prediction will be worth 2 points. Next week in the divisional round, each one will be worth 4. Then in the conference championship, those 2 games worth 8 apiece, and then the Super Bowl being worth 10. So without further ado, not really much else to talk about, so let's dive right into it. And we are starting off with one of the 2 Saturday games, which will be played at 3:30 Central, 4:30 Eastern. And it is the 5-seed Los Angeles Rams heading way over to Carolina to take on the 4-seed Panthers.
And I like the Rams here in this one because, well, now the Panthers obviously in this past season got the best of the Rams, but I think that Stafford comes out and plays his MVP caliber self, and he doesn't throw those interceptions that he threw in, I want to say it was like week 8 or 9, when he had 2 or 3 interceptions against the Carolina Panthers, 1 pick 6, I'm pretty sure. It just doesn't happen again. I don't see Stafford doing that again, not in the playoffs. If he does, then likely the Panthers do win. If that's the key to victory, if they do win, it'd be to get turnovers. But I just don't see the Stafford turning it over very much in this game. I like the Panthers to dominate with their run game. Kyren Williams and the breakout performer that is Blake Corum that's showing up late in the season. He's going to be fresh legs compared to Kyren Williams, who they've ran more all season. Corum has come in and really shown that he can be the lead back when Kyren Williams was hurt for that little bit. And I think that really the Rams are lucky. They got 2 number 1 running backs coming up here, at least with the way Corum's been playing. And we know Kyren Williams is a stud. So, and I just think that the Panthers and Bryce Young, he's just too inexperienced. Maybe if they get a couple more playoff wins in a couple of years, or a couple more playoff entries in a couple of years, if we'll see how they do. They obviously are entering with a losing record, so it should be the Rams' favorite in this one. This is one of those arguments where should the divisional team really earn the home game because they have the losing record, but I say you win your division, you earn your home game, and even though it's a home game for the Panthers, I like the Rams to walk away with this one.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I'm picking the Rams as well. I think you pretty well hit the hammer on the nail on almost every point you made there. I like that the division winners still get the home game, because it does very often, I will say, result in something like this, where even though it's a 5 going to a 4 seed, the 4 seed isn't really it's not like the 5 seed is an upset. The 5 seed's usually favored, but it just gives kind of those people who grind it out and still got the needed wins their chance to actually make a difference. Because the Panthers are 8 and 9, and then the 4 seed in the AFC, the Steelers are 9 and 8. So you're staring at, or maybe 10 and 7.
10 and 7,
but still, you're staring at 2 teams either right around, or even the Panthers' case, under that 500 win percentage. But that being said, they are still a very good team who beat the Packers when the Packers were at full health. They beat the Rams when the Rams were at full health this season. So they've shown that they can put these games together and dominate. The Falcons have the same record of them, and they dominated the Falcons at least one time, if not both times, if they played that, I believed. So those big high-pressure games, those divisional games, they can still show up during those. So I don't fully count the Rams out of this one, but Callan touched on it a little bit, but I think the biggest one here is playoff experience.
Mm-hmm.
Off the top of my head, unless I'm missing kind of some veteran pickups, I don't think there's a player on that Panthers team that has a playoff win, maybe not even a playoff appearance, if we're being completely honest. Maybe Rico Dowdle in his Cowboy years, but I mean, even if it was an appearance, I don't know if he ever got a win when he was with the Cowboys.
I don't think Dallas won.
And then you're staring at that sheer raw inexperience in the playoffs versus the Rams, who have Matthew Stafford, who has countless playoff appearances, multiple playoff wins, a Super Bowl win. And Kyren Williams was on that Super Bowl team. If I'm not mistaken, they're getting Devontae Adams back. I think he'll be healthy and back from that hamstring injury. So that's another guy with a ton of playoff experience and just a lot of skill that you're getting back, a huge red zone threat. So though I'm not just absolutely completely saying the Panthers have no chance, I'm still very much picking the Rams on this one. So now moving into one that's a 5 versus 4 seed, the closest you can get, moving to the furthest away you can get seed-wise. For the second Saturday game, we have the Saturday night game, which we played at 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern, exclusively on Amazon Prime Video. And we have a divisional matchup as well as this playoff matchup. We have the 7 seed Green Bay Packers heading to Chicago to take on the Bears for the third time this year.
And obviously, I like the Packers here. Now, I think the Packers should be 2-0 against the Bears right now. Obviously, for a botched onside kick and some couple other crazy things, it was very reminiscent of that Seattle 2014 NFC title game. And to tell you what, Green Bay bounced back from that, and they'll bounce back from this in a big way. Jordan Love has been off for the last couple games, so he's really been resting and getting healthy. He had a concussion, so he actually passed concussion protocol, but they still decided to keep him only as a backup quarterback in week 17. So he did not play in week 18, sorry. So used to 17 weeks. But so Jordan Love's going to come in healthy, and it's going to really depend on how well he plays. And if he can play into that Toyotathon, Jordan Love caliber type of player that he can be, he can lead this team and do a reminiscent run that Aaron Rodgers had in the 2010 NFC playoffs when they were the 6th seed, and Rodgers was just coming into his own. He'd only been starter for a couple of years. So this is very reminiscent to set up to a similar run that Rodgers had in 2010. So it'll be interesting to see if Love can pull off to his predecessor what he did. So it's going to depend on Love, how well he plays, and how well the defense can stop the running game, because we got ran over by Baltimore. Granted, that's Derrick Henry. You know, he's a bit of a special player. He's someone who can take over games. I don't know if the Bears have anybody who can take over a game. Maybe Caleb Williams, but I need to see it consistently. He did do very good against the 49ers in that San Francisco game. But out of that game, I just don't know if there's anyone on that roster that can take over a game. And, you know, you look at the running game of DeAndre Swift and Monagai, but those are just more of a two-headed monster than a single player that is Derrick Henry. You do look at the receivers, DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, possibly coming off of injury.
That's what I was just looking up. It's looking like they have him marked as questionable right now, but
so
I think he is supposed to be.
He hasn't played in the last few weeks. He actually re-aggravated the injury when he did try to play. So it'll be interesting to see if he plays. If he does, that'll be very hard for the Packers defense to defend, because the Bears running game can be very explosive, and that passing game has proven that it can be dominant over this past season. So it depends. It's going to come down to how well the quarterbacks play, I believe, and I really have my belief and my confidence in Jordan Love and a similar Toyotathon Aaron Rodgers style run that he had back in 2010.
What am I missing? What's Toyotathon?
Toyotathon. So,
first time I thought I misheard you, and then you said it again.
It's this Green Bay lore that Jordan Love turns it on during Toyotathon. he's gone on these miraculous throw it up, bomb runs where he went on those really good streaks.
Yeah.
It was during Toyotathon.
Kind of that late December.
Yeah, late December, early January, late November. So it's a joke among Green Bay fans that Jordan Love is able to just tear it up during Toyotathon. And he even wore a Toyotathon shirt during one of his interviews, so he's playing into it.
Oh, that's
even better. That's why I had to mention it, because he seems to be aware of it.
I didn't know any of that. That's
yeah, you'll have to look it up.
So all the Bears need to win is just Toyotathon needs to end early. If it ends Friday, they're golden.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to check into where Toyotathon's at.
But no, I can't disagree with any of that. I think that the Packers are still a very good team, even with their injuries. But even with that, I just got to take the Bears right now. The Bears are just the hotter hand right now. It looks like it might truly be that time. They have so many years and so many games of pent-up anger that they can just absolutely unleash on the Packers right here.
Could.
And if that doesn't hype a team up, then they'll never win again. Because I just that much losing and that much history of being worse than a team, if that doesn't fire you up enough to go get a win when you're the 2 versus the 7 seed at home, I don't know what else possibly can, and I really do think it does happen here. As Callan mentioned, I was looking it up. Looks like Roma Dunze is questionable, kind of looking like he was going to play. And just a quick caveat, side note, I also looked it up. Devontae Adams is looking like he's healthy and going to play. But to come back to this game, it looks like Roma Dunze will play. And that offense has been getting along without him just fine. And he is a very, very talented player. So if you look at what that offense has been able to do without him, maybe taking out that game last week against the Lions where they looked a little flat, but week 18, your seeding was already kind of set. I think it's just one of more of those situations. But nonetheless, if you add Roma Dunze back to that offense that is already chugging along and doing great, it just makes it even scarier. This game's going to be close. A playoff game, a divisional game, there's no way it's not going to be close.
The rubber match.
But I do see the Bears eking out a win here. So now moving on to the Sunday matchups and our first AFC game, starting with the 6 versus 3 seed here. We have the 6 seed Buffalo Bills heading way down south to the Jacksonville Jaguars as the 3 seed. And we finally agree on this one. For the Sunday noon Eastern game, we both have the Buffalo Bills winning. And again, I don't really want to sound like a broken record here like I was just talking about with the Rams-Panthers game, but there is just way too much more playoff experience and sheer talent on that Buffalo Bills team. And most of that sheer talent and playoff experience does come from the one-man, Superman, Josh Allen. It's so hard to beat a team with Josh Allen on it, especially in the playoffs. I mean, their only kryptonite has been one of the few quarterbacks better within the past decade, Patrick Mahomes. And he's been about the only one who seems like he can beat him, at least in the recent future, aside from a few fluke games. So I really think that Josh Allen continues to do what Josh Allen is supposed to do and does in the playoffs, even with a little bit of a weaker roster. In the last, good bit, probably 8 to 10 games of the season, I feel like we saw a lot less James Cook. They were kind of getting Ray Davis in there, kind of trying to keep Cook healthy, which they did, and Cook is coming into the playoffs very healthy. So now I think that they absolutely unleash him, and he plays a huge game, kind of like he was earlier in this season, where he's putting up 150 rushing yards, 50 receiving yards, and a touchdown or 2 every game. I could definitely see him doing a monster playoff run like that. So not saying that the Jaguars are a bad team right now. They are very much a team getting hot at the right time. I think just the sheer amount of talent on that Bills offense is what stops them early here.
Yeah, I do. I like the Bills to take this one in a very exciting matchup. I expect this to be an explosive game with many touchdowns and a very high-scoring matchup. Now, that being said, it'll be the 6-3 game. But that's just how that goes. But I don't expect either defense to really be dominant. Trevor Lawrence has actually taken that next step. Now, if he can take the playoff step, he could really start to build that Hall of Fame career that everybody kind of handed to him in Clemson. Yeah, so he's really put it together these last few weeks. The Jaguars had a chance at the 1 seed, even as late as week 18, where they needed a couple losses from the top teams, and that didn't happen. But they were fighting for it and got the 3 seed and get this home game. But they get the unfortunate draw of drawing Josh Allen, who is probably has his best chance here to get to a Super Bowl because there's no Burrow, there's no Mahomes. Who else isn't there? There's no Lamar. So really, this is Buffalo and Josh Allen's chance to shine because he's the household name in the playoffs now. So maybe besides Aaron Rodgers, but we can talk about that in a little bit here. But as far as this game goes, I expect the Bills to run away with this or to win this one in a very explosive, fun game to watch that I expect to be maybe a touchdown difference.
I agree. Who would have thought that the turning point in the Jacksonville Jaguars season would be a trade deadline acquisition of Jacoby Myers?
Mm-hmm.
After Travis Hunter went down, Jacoby Myers brought life back to that offense in a way Brian Thomas just couldn't in a very disappointing season for him. So just so ironic that Jacoby Myers was kind of like their highlight pickup this year.
Yeah.
But moving on to our second Sunday game in the 6 versus 3 matchup on the NFC side of things this time. Playing on Sunday at 3:30 Central, we have the 6th seed San Francisco 49ers going coast to coast all the way to Philadelphia to take on the 3 seed Eagles. And we split again on this one. Callan takes the upside of the Niners, and I keep the Eagles.
I like the 49ers to come away with this one because not only because the Eagles have kind of been an inconsistent, incomplete team this year, but also because I like the San Francisco 49ers coaching staff over these coordinators that are for the Eagles. Now, the Eagles have a fine coordinator in Vic Fangio, but you got to remember, Vic Fangio came from San Francisco and was a predecessor to Robert Saleh. So the 49ers know a lot about Vic Fangio and how to beat his system, I feel like. So because of that, I think that the Niners are able to this is one will be a close game where they'll eke away this one. They'll make it an ugly win. One of those type of games. I expect this to be a sloppy matchup. I don't know what the weather is supposed to be like, but it could be anything in Philadelphia. It could be raining, could be snowing. Out there on the East Coast, they have those bomb cyclones sometimes, just randomly. So if we get one of those, could be a snow game, and that could really favor the Eagles if you get a hot weather, or a high weather intensity game. But as far as this goes, I don't expect that to happen. I expect the 49ers and Brock Purdy to show that he's been able to do in these last few weeks, to show that he's very capable of being that starting quarterback. And even if he doesn't, they have Mac Jones to back them up, who actually was a very capable winner for most of the season for the 49ers, as Purdy really just came on lately. But I like the 49ers in this one because of their coaching staff to out-coach the Eagles in this one.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know, I'm usually a Brock Purdy hater, but I will say he has been balling out these last few games. Sans that Seahawks game where he didn't look very good at all, to be honest. But the 3-4 games before that, he was going crazy. But I was just telling Callan before we started this recording, quite literally, and I'm not kidding, looking at it again, quite literally, any other team in the NFC playoff right now, I would take to beat the Eagles. Even in Philadelphia, I would still take the other team, except the 49ers. I do have to stick with the Eagles on this one for 2 huge reasons. First and foremost, the Eagles as a team has just looked flat this year. I don't know if it's a Super Bowl hangover. I don't know if it's losing some people on the offensive line. I don't know if it's, I guess you can't even really say the injuries because I feel like they haven't really been too injury-ridden this year.
No.
I don't know what it is, but they've just looked like a different, lesser team this year. But the 49ers are so injured. You want to talk about injury-ridden. and not only injury ridden in general, but injury ridden in the worst, most star-studded ways. I mean, Christian McCaffrey luckily has stayed healthy. He's about the only star that has stayed healthy, but Trent Williams gone, Fred Warner gone, Nick Bosa gone. I mean, the list just goes on.
Pearsall.
Ricky Pearsall's gone.
Kittle's
been in and out. He's supposed to play, of course, but he's been in and out. That poor team is just absolutely torn to shred right now, and just hanging on by a thread. And then that is mostly the number one reason, but that stacked on top of the whole coast-to-coast idea going into the bad weather. I completely agree. If you see a snow game, I don't think the 49ers really have a chance at that point, especially with an outdoor stadium there in Philadelphia. So you are spot on. I believe that this is going to be a sloppy, sloppy game, and I don't really know who's going to come out on top, but sadly, I just really feel like it's going to be the Eagles. So now moving on to our last two games, both AFC matchups, starting with the prime time Sunday night football game being played at 7 p.m. Central Time. We have our 7-2 matchup with the 7 seed Los Angeles Chargers heading to New England to take on the 2 seed Patriots, who are kind of the shockers this year, kind of your trophy babies here. But the Patriots have looked so good this year, which is why I have the Patriots. Callan has the upset and the Chargers in this one. I am just a huge Drake May fan. Callan and I were in a fantasy league this year. I took Drake May. I told him, I told everybody at my work, I was like, it is Drake May's year. That team is looking good around him. They've put what they needed into him. He looked so good at the end of last year. And in a shocker, and a pretty rare occasion, I'll even admit myself, I was actually spot on with it. Drake May had an MVP caliber season. Matt Stafford definitely gave a run for his money, but I truly do think they actually do end up giving it to Drake May, but we shall see. But I don't think the Chargers have much of a chance here. Same exact as the last game we just talked about. Chargers are going coast to coast. You're going to a place with super unpredictable weather again, like New England, another outdoor stadium. Not only are the Chargers used to LA weather, but they're also used to a dome. So it's just such a different playing environment and such a intense playing environment in the playoffs here. The Chargers have just been absolutely torn apart by a terrible history, ghost that won't let them go of playoff failures in the past. And the Patriots are a little like the Panthers. There's not a lot of people on that team who have a playoff appearance, let alone a playoff win. But unlike the Panthers, I think that they just have so much more talent than their opponent in this case scenario. So I got the Panthers and that whole team getting their first playoff win. Or sorry, the Patriots and their whole team getting their first playoff win.
I agree with that, except for I have a theory on this one. And this one is because of all the grief that was caused back in the mid-2000s by Tom Brady and the Patriots to LaDainian Tomlinson, LT, Phillip Rivers, and the San Diego Chargers. And I believe that the Chargers as a team get their revenge on the Patriots and are able to upset them in Foxborough this week because Justin Herbert is going to prove that he can be a top 3 type of quarterback. I talked about earlier about how there's no Mahomes, no Burrow. Well, this is Herbert's chance to possibly shine and take one of those spots from Burrow or prove that he belongs there. Then when you say those names of Mahomes, Josh Allen's, maybe after these next couple weeks, you'll say Justin Herbert next to those names. And that's what I predict to see happening. The other thing I like about the Chargers is that running game. Kamani Vidal has been a resurgence in the running game. And then you add in a healthy Omarion Hampton and then a possible never mind. I was going to say J.K. Dobbins, but he's in Denver.
Yeah.
But he also might come back for Denver, but that's for next week.
Yeah, that's the next week.
But that's what my thought process was. But they do have a healthy Omarion Hampton who has proven that was very worthy of that first-round pick that they spent on him. And I believe that because of Herbert and that running game, they're able to upset the Patriots, who come in with very little playoff experience, comparing to years of past with Brady and those Patriot teams of being heavy playoff veterans. But I just see the Chargers getting their revenge on unsuspecting Patriots team because they're unaware of all the grief and history that the San Diego and Chargers and the New England Patriots had in the mid 2000s.
So it's so funny. We are so split on this game, and the storylines are so split. I think the ghost of Chargers past is going to hurt them. You think it's going to help them.
Yep.
Some of the other cool storylines is you got Drake May. Is he going to be the future guy to talk about, or is Justin Herbert going to be your future AFC to talk about? You got the second overall rookie running back this year against the third overall rookie running back this year. I can't remember who went first between Henderson and Junkins. But Henderson was either third picked running back or fourth picked running back this year.
Remember.
But regardless, two of the best performing rookie running backs this year going against each other. This is going to be a super, super fun matchup. This might be one of the ones I'm most excited for.
I think this could be a surprise, it's
going to be a
matchup.
great game. And then finally, to end it all out, we have the Monday night football game and the final wild card game being played on Monday night at 7 o'clock Central. We have the 5-seed Houston Texans heading to Pittsburgh to take on the 4-seed Pittsburgh Steelers. And we end this episode here by agreeing. We both have the Steelers in this one. I've talked about it a couple of teams here where I said that they've been on a hot streak. And I think every time I've said that team has been on a hot streak, I then have them losing. And I am continuing that right here. I don't know what it is, but I feel like some of these teams who are catching heat late in the year, Texans is one of them, Chargers is one of them, Jaguars is probably the most notable one. But I just feel like your hype, your excitement, your winning streak runs out eventually. And I think that happens here for the Texans. And more than anything, to continue sounding like a broken record and just following the same path, I'm going off of playoff experience here. And I don't know if there's a person here right now. I think Matthew Stafford might be the closest, but he's nowhere near where Aaron Rodgers is in playoff experience. I know he's 42, 58, however old he is.
Something like that.
But he just has so many years of playoff experience. They're going to be getting DK Metcalf back, and I think DK Metcalf is going to burn the house down after that crazy 2-game suspension he got to end the regular season. And he's going to come out with a vengeance. There's so much going for the Steelers right now. I think they sneaky have one of the best running back duos in the league right now with Kenneth Gainwell and Jalen Warren. They've both been running the ball well. They're both amazing out of the backfield. The defense, TJ Watt is back and playing like he should. Cameron Hayward is older. Time is running out on him. He wants to get some of those playoffs wins. He knows he's only got probably one more good shot here at a Super Bowl. There's so much going for the Steelers right now that I don't think they win the Super Bowl by any means, but I just can't imagine a first-round bounce happens.
Yeah, I like the Steelers in this one because not only are they the home team, but like you said, the Houston Texans are coming in on like a 9-game winning streak, and they're just not a team I see sustaining a heavy, long winning streak of, like the Patriots and Chiefs of the past. I just see the Steelers coming in, and unless Rodgers has a completely flat, turnover-heavy game, I think that Rodgers and the Steelers are able to come away with this one. I think it'll be a pretty entertaining game. I think it'll be a big defensive battle. This is what I predict to be the 6-3 or 10-7 game because these are two top defenses going at each other, and then two kind of mediocre offenses. The Texans don't have much of a running game with Woody Marks and Nick Chubb kind of beat up. So they're going to be pass heavy with Nico Collins and those Iowa State wide receivers. And the Steelers are going to know that. And they're going to be able to defend against the Texans' pass. And I think the Steelers walk away with this one on another possible late field goal or missed field goal.
Yeah, say another missed field goal. No, you kind of touched on it right there, but one kind of X factor matchup I did want to point out is the Steelers secondary has been rough this year, to say the least. But one thing I wanted to point out is, like you said, with the running backs, very beat up running backs over there on that Houston Texans offense. And the inside linemen for the Steelers are some of the best at stopping the run in the league, in my opinion, like the actual two inside defensive tackles themselves. So I think they just kind of let them two, Keontae Benton and Cameron Hayward, just absolutely focusing on the run, and then just let Alex Highsmith and TJ Watt tee off on the quarterback. So look for a lot of sacks for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It is my kind of a prediction inside of a prediction.
I think this will be a heavy sack game for both teams.
Oh, yeah.
You got Will Anderson and Neil Hunter on the other side. Rodgers isn't the most mobile quarterback. At least CJ Stroud is a little more mobile. But I like you said, I think a lot of sacks on both sides of the ball here.
That's valid. I mean, Myles Garrett broke the sack record this year. Why not break the single game sack record between two teams in the playoffs?
Yeah.
Can they beat 23? We'll see. We'll see if they can beat Myles Garrett total on the year. But no, thank you all so much for watching. That is our predictions for Wildcard weekend of the 2025-2026 playoffs. Stay tuned in until next week when we'll be going back to our usual 2-episode format, where we'll have a quick prediction episode talking about these 6 games, and then our prediction for the divisional rounds, seeing who goes on, and we'll play next week and predict again. So again, thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned until next time, and don't forget
to eat the W.